All right, let's just jump on in. I hope everyone is doing well. We did see the 21 share spot XRP ETF launch today, seeded with 100 million XRP. That is a pretty juicy number. We also have a ton of other things happening around the space. I just wanted to jump on and catch up with you guys and see how everybody is doing. Looks like we got AK Scarface in the house. Great to see you. Mason Tyler, what's up? Nicole. Great to see you, Nicole. I hope you're well. Peter O'Neill in the house. Great to see you, Peter. We got Adam saying this is fire. Love to see that, Adam. Lloyd, Crypto Sensei, up this glitch. Let's go. What's up, dude? Paul, great to see you, Paul. I hope your father is doing much better, man. Hope you are too, my friend. Apex Nomad, great to see the regulars. Yeah, it's always nice to see the same people at the start. I know we're supposed to be on like Tuesday, Friday schedule. I do apologize. Wasn't feeling good earlier in the week, and just things, all of my stuff got pushed back to like Wednesday, and yesterday was too crazy. So I wanted to just at least jump on here and talk with you guys, answer some questions, go over some things that are happening. See here, Rob, it's been a very speculative week with major claims being made about prices before the end of the year. I'm watching XLM and HBAR, and they're both mirroring XRP. Do you know why? It's funny, if you look at the XLM and XRP chart, it's really crazy how both of those kind of go together. And I think, some would say manipulation, and some would just say like when you see something starting to run, others are betting that those tokens will run with it, right? So it's kind of like the psychology. When one thing is doing really well, it tends to kind of push up other things around it, kind of in the same niches of technology. And so I would imagine there's more institutional buyers coming in right now for HBAR, for XRP, and some for XLM. And, you're starting to see that movement on the chart. And, the Fed is going to be doing some QE, quantitative easing, here in the United States. What that basically means is they're going to start printing money again. They're going to start with $40 billion this month. And, we'll see how it goes. It does, I don't really, without getting into the whole weeds of all of this, the market should be good in 26, but I'd imagine a lot of the things that they're doing to kind of prop up the stock market and prop up maybe the crypto market in 26 will probably come to an end after the midterm election. That's usually how this works. When you have a new president coming in and they want to make sure that people are getting stimulus and people are seeing Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. If they want to remain control of those three things, they either need to have an agenda that everybody loves, or they need to, do things that will garner votes. And so they're going to do everything that they can in 26 to get more votes their side. And so that's going to mean markets will probably look good in 26. But when you start to print money and you're lowering rates at the same time, that does lead to higher inflation. So I'd imagine 27, 28, you might see some of that kind of unfolding, but we'll play that out as we go. We got Just Maui here. I think I saw Sveta there too. Husky Tom. What's up, Husky Tom? Great to see you, man. I know that you saw the Luna photo, right? You got the Bears jersey on there. Dylan's here. Great to see you, Dylan. We got Scott checking in. Go Bears, go XRP. See, it wasn't just Husky Tom that liked the Luna photos. I don't know if you guys saw those. Let me show you. That was a lot of fun. Let me see here. Posts. Let's see. You see your channel. Let me just pull this up really quickly on my end so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Yes, here we go. Let me just screen share here so you guys can see my screen. Screen share. All right, so our good friend Husky Tom here, who's been really a supporter of the channel, wanted to donate some money to buy Luna a little Bears Luna jersey. And so as you can see, Luna's here sporting the Bears jersey in the living room. And we're trying to take a good photo of Luna head on. And so I'm sitting here talking to her, and she's kind of nodding her head back and forth. And this was one of the cuter photos that we were able to take there. So appreciate you, Husky Tom, and go Bears, go Bears. I'm more of a Niners fan, but hey, if it's good for the channel and the morale and these are like small things that you can do to show people that you really care about them and their time and everything that they're doing for you. And this was one of those gestures that I thought was a little bit of fun. So glad to do it. Glad to be a part of it. Yeah, so this is the my hair is actually naturally very curly, and so if I don't style it and pin it into a way, it kind of has a mind of its own. I am going to get a haircut after the stream, so that's why I don't have any product or anything in. So you kind of get the curly hair. Nice haircut. I'm about to get a haircut. This is just my natural hair, but it's starting to feel like I should just sport this from now on. You know, it's got the poof. All right, let's do this. Let's jump into a little bit of news and information here, and then I'll try to jump back and answer some of your questions. So we did see 21 shares launch. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right screen. We are rock and roll. Let me blow this up so you can see a little bit better. So 21 shares just got the approval to launch, and they're seeding it with 100 million XRP, which means they have pre-bought this XRP, whether they've had it for a while or they just got it from OTC desks or some other way. They have 100 million XRP now to seed this. So as more money goes into 21 shares, if it gets to a point where they're getting to that 100 million level, that is already taken up for the fund, they're going to obviously need to buy more. But this is 100 million more XRP gone into these cold storage wallets. And I thought this was a great, this is going to come out on a video later today. I recorded another 4 videos today. So we got 2 fresh videos coming. Actually, there's only 1 video that's launched so far. So there's another 3 videos coming today. But one of the most important things here that I wanted to highlight with you guys here is this post from 21 Shares account. And it says the 21 Shares XRP ETF is now live, providing investors a liquid, transparent, and convenient way to gain exposure to XRP. And then they call it a foundational asset in the future of global payments. You know what's interesting? you gotta pay attention to the verbiage and what these institutions are saying about this specific asset, right? And I've been seeing a lot of comments like this. I think we had some stuff from Franklin Templeton and of course Canary Capital, where they're telling you where they see XRP in its entirety, in its position, what it's about to happen with the crypto market, right? And in the evolution and adoption of blockchain and DLT. And we need to be paying attention to some of these comments. And then it says why this matters. Supported by the XRP Army, one of the strongest communities in crypto. That's a given. I would say it's the strongest community in crypto. The XRP ledger is a public blockchain built for business since 2012. Real world institutional adoption via global payments, tokenization, and DeFi. Currently the 4th largest crypto by market cap. And if you guys are not following me on X, our team is providing a lot of additional value. And we also put out a post specifically speaking about this. I directed the team to do this. 21 Shares has filed a spot XRP ETF with the SEC, which sounds like big news for XRP's spot financial ecosystem. But before we get too excited, let's unpack what's going on here. The filing is a step toward institutional players getting involved in XRP, but it's also a reminder that the crypto space still requires a lot of regulatory cleanup. This isn't a moon moment, it's another brick in the long road of regulatory clarity. Keep your eyes on the fundamentals, not the hype. Institutional money takes time, and this move is part of a slow burn process. So, I thought that was a valuable post to put out there, because every brick in this wall is, we're painting a masterpiece here. And every product that comes on the market that requires more XRP to support that product, the more money that comes into those products, it can be exponential. And I think I was looking at the numbers today, XRP roughly about 1.6 billion total, I think I saw, and Bitcoin's like 126 billion. Let me see if I have that. Do I have that information? Hold on. I thought it was a good graphic. 1 second here. Let me just see. If not, I can pull it from my old content. No, I don't have it. Let me see if it's, I know sometimes I save some of my stuff, man, right as I clean up the laptop. All right, let me see. I know where to find it. Give me a second here. Let me pull this back up. Let me go to, you know what? Let me just search XRP. I'd imagine that everybody and their mothers reposted this already really quickly. Let me just show you. I'm looking for something extremely specific. I'll know it when I see it. Sorry, I don't want to make you dizzy here, but I'm looking for. Did somebody not post it? Hold on. Who had it? It was Ripple Van Winkle. Let's see. Jared posted it. Let me see. Where is it, Jared? I thought Jared posted it. Maybe it's Chad. There it is. There it is. There it is. This is what I was looking for. Oh no, wait, this is another one. Okay. So let me just show you this really quickly. This talks about how many filings there are actively right now. Bitcoin has 21. Basket. So this could be Ethereum, Solana, XRPs, whatever it is. It's a basket of different cryptocurrencies. Those are at 15 and XRP is at 10 here. So XRP is actually ahead of Ethereum, and Ethereum has been out since 24, which tells you a lot about what institutions are most focused on right now. There's more XRP products in the market than Solana, Ethereum, Litecoin, AVAX, SUI, BNB, and I mean, who's buying Bonk? Cardano, Say, Chainlink. I mean, this is really a big number. And I would imagine over the next, 3-6 months, you're probably going to get several more products, and we're probably going to be in the second space here. Now, I'm hoping to find... No, it wasn't. Let me see if chat has it. Somebody posted a really great... Oh, I thought I saw it. No, that's the basket. Somebody post. This is what I was looking for. Here you go. This is what I wanted to show you. Okay, so check this out. This is total assets, and this is in millions, I believe. So this is billions, right? So this is 125 billion, I believe. Yeah, because it's in millions, right? So this is 125 billion. This is 22 billion, and here's XRP at 1.6 billion. So if we were to challenge Bitcoin here, that is over 100x, right? And so the goal here with the XRP community, XRP army, as more retail understands that XRP has all of these additional use cases, Bitcoin is a great store of value if you're interested in that thing. But if you're looking for something that could be a store of value, that could also be the payment rails for the entire world, CBDCs, real world assets, smart contract functionality, I mean, stable coins, you name it, it's being built on top of the XRP ledger right now. And it's pretty crazy to not think that XRP is going to make a run on baskets. Of course, that'll be knocked down very soon. And then we'll start approaching Ethereum because we have more products. There's more demand. There's more eyes on it right now. There's more marketing. And so people are looking to pick up more of this. And so we'll start to close in on Ethereum, and then it's a big jump to Bitcoin. And to make that jump, you're going to need players like BlackRock and, Fidelity and a few other ones. So, man, yeah, and derivatives too. We've been talking about that. The CFTC has been clearing the way for regulated derivatives here in the United States. And, listen, like this is pretty simple. And I deal, it's pretty funny now that I'm, in this position where I cover a lot of news in XRP in the crypto market. I have people in my life that weren't in crypto that all of a sudden are in crypto now. And maybe that's because of maybe they've seen the channel and things that I've said. And there's some trust there because I know these people, in my everyday life. And these people are coming in and they're learning and they're growing and they're asking really good questions and they're really getting really excited. And what I'm noticing here is that more and more people are starting to contact me and ask me about crypto. Right? Whereas in previous years, you didn't really have that. And it just feels like we're on, the precipice of something truly great for the crypto market. And maybe that is a little bit of regulation. Maybe that is the tailwinds that we're seeing from all of the positive things from the Trump administration and all of the regulators. Maybe it's a mixture of all of these things coming together at once, right? Being able to invest your 401k or your retirement fund into crypto is going to be a tremendous value. That's trillions of dollars in more demand that can come into this space. And, as Forbes said it best, over the next 20 years, you're going to see $84 trillion coming from the current generation, the boomers, right, to the younger generation. And the younger generation is, and when I say younger, I'm not going to put an age range. Okay. So we'll just say the younger generation, as they get this money, they're more interested in investing in the crypto market because it's built around community and technology, and they understand it more than stocks and shares and things like that. Right. And institutions understand that they need to provide these tokenized assets, tokenized stocks, tokenized index funds. They need money markets. All of these things these traditional bankers talk about that the boomers are really interested in, the younger generation just really doesn't care. They want to buy XRP and Cardano and Chainlink and these types of things because they get crypto. And so institutions are like, oh snap, like we need to figure out how we're going to keep this money in the traditional markets. And the way that they're going to do that is by tokenizing all of this stuff and offering it to those people that are familiar with the DeFi landscape. And I think that's going to be really incredible. XRP will jump over Ethereum and hit Bitcoin with the Thor hammer. I love that. Highway to sunshine. Well put. Love, love, love that. Oh, it's okay. What's up, dude? OSOK has so many rules. That's why Ariana is here. Yeah, Ariana is the number one. I wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff without her. When Jake the Muscle speaks, people listen. Oh, we're talking about Jake, huh? I don't think we could ever get through a stream without mentioning his name. Eventually, it's like the person who has 1,000 predictions. They could miss 999 of those predictions, but when they hit one prediction, they had it all the way along, right? I think you're going to see that, right? We're going to get to the end of the year. We're not going to be at 100. We're not going to be at 750. We're going to get into early 2026. It's not going to be 1,000, right? And then eventually one of those predictions will hit, okay? And I'll be excited when that happens, but we're still going to call a spade at this point, right? It's all good. I hope he gets one right. Well, I mean, I think we're all hoping he gets one right, but I think everybody understands where the market is going, but nobody can tell you when it's actually going to happen. And even someone that claims to be so connected still doesn't know, right? And like, if he knew, he wouldn't throw out 100 different predictions in a 3-month period. He would just say on January 2nd, 2026, XRP will be at $750, right? Like, he would actually know. So I think people just need to understand that we're all here, absorbing the same information. Even somebody that has those types of connections still doesn't quite exactly know when it's going to happen. And it's all good, Jake has 20 days. We'll see what happens. Absolutely. I would love to see him be right this year, but I don't know. It would take an act of God to be right in the next 20 days. But hey, we will see, guys. We will see. Yeah, I mean, it's all good. He has a lot of value. He's really knowledgeable. From my interactions with him, he seemed to be a really nice guy. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not rooting against Jake. If he wins, we all win. So we will see how all this goes. I'm playing with my new Ledger Flex. Ledger sent me some of their new wallets, and I was testing them out today. Actually, it's pretty nice. Have you guys played with one of these things? Man, I'm working on some content right now, but I'm actually really surprised with their new technology. It can happen. You are valuable too. I appreciate you. Thank you. That's so sweet. You're so nice. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, trust me. XRP hits $100, we have a rager party. Well, I think to have like a rager party, like the party for all parties, I think we need a little bit more than $100, but it'll be a good start, right? That'll be a good start. I want to see XRP reach 3, 4, 5 digits. I want to see all of the private planes landing at Honolulu International Airport for the party, maybe like 12 miles out to sea. That way we can, partake. We can gamble. We can do other things. Hawaii has some pretty strict laws on gambling, so we got to be careful on that. I hope I'm on a yacht, Sensei. Hey, you pull it up. We will party. Cosmic Fox Crypto, excuse me. All right, let's look at a few more pieces of information and news here. I just got to watch the time because I need to, what's it called? All right, here's something that I thought was really impactful. I put this into a video, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek. Okay, if you don't know, Simon McLaughlin isn't, when I hear Simon McLaughlin, I think is this guy like a famous singer? Like, he's got a name, like you would think he's part of like the Beatles or something. But he said this: the global financial infrastructure is 70 years old and it is urgent need of updating. Today, regulators, users, and technology are finally aligning. It feels like the mid-90s. The internet went from a passing fad to being the backbone of the economy in just a few years. Listen to this. In 3 to 5 years, every financial firm and eventually every company will have blockchain connectivity. Let that sink in for a second. The next 3 to 5 years is basically 2030, 2031. Okay. In the next 3 to 5 years, every company and financial institution will be connected through blockchain. That means every person that has an account anywhere for anything will be using blockchain. Okay. Let that sink in for a second. Right. And what happens when the next 7.5 billion people start to understand that crypto really is the future of blockchain, right? Think about how many conversations you've had with people that you care about deeply, right? And you tried to tell them how important crypto is, how important maybe XRP is, and they kind of say, yep, I heard this before. I don't know what the excuse is, but I've heard a lot of them. And some people will not budge until it is smack dab right in front of them. Most people won't even realize they're using the technology. It just goes, hey, did you hear I sent a payment today and it went instantly? That's crazy, right? And I saved money. What is that? That's the blockchain technology I told you about 3 or 4 years ago. The thing that I invested in and you didn't. Like, you'll be able to have some of these conversations and, it'll be fun, but it'll also be painful for the person that didn't listen to you, right? Because there's going to be 1 or 2 of those people in your life that are going to come to you and say, oh my God, why didn't I buy it when you told me it was 30 cents or $1 or $2 and I could have done this and I could have done that. And all you can really say is, maybe I'll take you to dinner. You can pick the place. It's on me, right? That's really all you can do here. Oh man, have we seen DTCC news? Is there any news about the DTCC? Are we talking about stock market settlement through blockchain? Is that what we're asking about? Let's be a little bit more specific so I can address that with you. Here we go. Highway to Sunshine says, my 7-year-old told her teacher to buy some XRP so she can be rich. I love that. It sounds like your 7-year-old is a very, very smart 7-year-old. If they're talking about XRP at 7, man, you guys are doing something right there. Absolutely love that. That is a smart kid. Talking about XRP at 7, man, all the other kids in that class, I wouldn't be surprised if they start having like digital wallets and like they're trading XRP on like Robinhood or something, at like 7, 8. Kids are smart these days. Some of them will. Yes, we're coming back to the children's book. I remember, Nicole. That hasn't been written out of my mind. It's just not been a huge priority. I have been thinking about it though. She watches all my videos. Wow. I don't know what to say. I don't think I didn't realize I had fans of the channel under like 10 or 18. That's incredible. I'm glad I watch what I say, right? Because, in the past, sometimes I've slipped. And like when I slip, I try to go back and I edit that stuff out. So just in case somebody's watching and kids are listening, I want to make sure that, we don't teach them anything that probably I shouldn't teach them. Hey, Sensei, I stopped talking. People really don't understand what crypto is, whether utility and the future of finance, tokenized assets. Yeah, I think that goes back to just people being unsure about change. Change is difficult, especially when you don't understand it. And most people don't want to take the time to understand, and I think that's where we're going to see the biggest benefit. When you can foresee a global shift and change of technology, and you can invest in that technology before the world does, that is how people become, whatever your position in life is, that's how people get from having, whatever they have to having a whole lot more, right? Being there early, understanding the developments and taking full advantage of that financial change. This is really going to set up a lot of people who support this channel for forever, and that's really important. I have a family friend, and he doesn't really invest in too many things, right? And his family's pretty well off. I can't say the name because it's a very well-known name in Hawaii here. But really incredible, sweet family. And my wife actually worked for this family a long time ago. And I went to lunch with this person and I've been talking, and he's been buying XRP and a few other assets to hold for his kids. So when his kids need money in, 5 years or 6 years, they both will have wallets with XRP and some other assets. I think that's an incredible way to invest in your kids' future, right? If you can put 1,000 XRP or 500 XRP in a decent wallet and just leave it there for 10 years or 15 years, what do you think the value of that's going to be? Right? It could put your kid through school. It could put buy the house, you know, and I don't know what the rules are in each one of your families. I'm sure it's a little bit different. Some people want their kids to work for it and things like that, but it's always good to have a rainy day fund. All right. We got a donation here from Salo. You are the biggest bull ever. Keep us motivated. Speaking only facts. Thank you. Appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Um, to get to where I am today, I had to watch a lot of content. And I understood when I was watching that content that I really just wanted the facts, right? Like, it's good to talk about what things could be in the future, but like, give me those facts right now as they stand and let me just dissect that information, right? Because that is what I can know and I can touch and I know is going to happen because it's reality, right? And I think providing that information at scale, right, where we can have fun and we can joke and we can watch clips, and it's just an incredible feeling to be able to share all of this energy and love and passion, and to have you guys support that is just incredible. And thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. My daughter is 13 and loves to watch with me. Man, this is going to be more time for me to make a children's book about XRP. I'm going to have to do that. Game of Cats, great to see you. Let's see here. What's your opinion on organizations like banks using Ripple, but some are not selecting to use XRP, like Japan is using XRP, but I think Bank of Singapore is only using Ripple itself. Rug pulls us. Listen, you're never going to have one technology to rule them all, right? It's never going to be that. It's going to be a mixture and interconnectivity of all of these assets. Some things are being built out on Ethereum, some Solana, some XRP. You don't need to have everything to get to where we're going, right? If we can limit the supply, if we can bring that supply down below a billion, 500 million, if we can start locking up XRP into Flare and other DeFi layers, that is going to give us a compounding effect on new money coming in. And once you start locking up XRP and ODL corridors and banks and corporations start to have their own strategies, there won't be enough XRP left. And so, all we can do is wish them well. We do want an interconnectivity world, and there's always going to be different countries or institutions that decide to go different ways. And we should be thankful that they looked at the technology and considered it. Maybe they're connected to it in case they want to accept a payment, right? Because you got to understand that RippleNet is a payment system. You can use RippleNet just for the messaging part. Like, that's how it can compete with Swift. But if you want that instant settlement part, you're going to need something like XRP and RLUSD. And so, you want all the financial institutions to have the ability to accept payments on the RippleNet system. And I think as it grows and as it expands, you'll see more and more. But we shouldn't be discouraged at all. I'm not. I think it's a crazy world out there, and you got to understand that some people in some positions are going to understand different things, right? Like, we can't expect everybody to understand XRP's use case. Where was the clip? I had a clip in a video that it probably will come out tomorrow morning, and it was Matt Hulon from, I think he's the CIO of Bitwise. And he said he had this incredible fact that just surprised me. Let me see if I have that. Hold on one second. Oh, I don't know if I have that. Oh, you know what? I'm going to stream tomorrow too, and I'll try to bring that clip there. But he had an incredible fact of how much time some of these institutions spend on crypto knowledge, and it was like 3 minutes a week or something crazy. Let's see here. Where we where we can sell our XRP if there be left, vanish, disappear from exchanges. I mean, 3 to 5 years. So this was a question that I was asked. So the question here is there going to be like a ban on being able to sell XRP in the future? And actually, a good friend of mine, his name's Ryan, and I don't know if he watches my live streams, but he's someone that I've got close with over the last few months, and he's a really nice guy. And he just started to buy XRP, and he's actually, I think he's already reaching some of his goals, which is pretty cool to say. And he asked me this question like yesterday, which was pretty crazy. You got to understand that and I was going to work on a video about this, and actually I still need to do that. But you got to understand that all of these exchanges, they're not controlled by one country or one company. There are all of these different exchanges all over the world, right? And those are centralized exchanges. But you also have the DEXs, right? And those don't have any authority over them. So will there be a grand conspiracy to take XRP out of circuit, like out, not have the ability to swap into anything? I don't even think that's possible at this point, right? Because then you would have to get every centralized exchange on board. Then you would have to get every DEX on board. Like, it's just impossible, right? Because everybody is regulated in different countries and under different rules and laws. And what if like, let's just use the president of the United States. What if he said to the EU, you need to delist XRP and you can't buy and sell it? Do you think the EU is going to be like, okay, we'll do whatever you say, right? There's going to be different people that push back, even on authority figures of any country. And so I just don't think it's possible. But the only way like this whole thing gets shut down is if we have some type of solar flare and everything gets shut down, right? And then we're back to like cave person status. And I don't even know if I want to live in that world, because I am not a hunter or a gatherer, I don't know what me and Luna would do. We'd be in some trouble there. Thank you, Sensei, for your knowledge. I appreciate you. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. What's up with the XRP Solana integration? Can you explain? So, you know what? I actually have some research on this. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. 1 second here. Let's see. Yep, I got you. Let's learn about this together, okay? Let me pull this up for you. All right. So the question is like, what's going on with XRP and Solana? Let me just, that's low enough. That's fine. So, so I put a post into Lexi and asking what's going on here. And so the post explains that XRP and RLUSD will be able to route from the XRP ledger and the XRP ledger EVM to Solana through Axelar once the final audits are done, and the go live date will be targeted for December. Solana gains a direct bridge to institutional leaning payment stack. Oh, excuse me. Ripple Tech, RLUSD, XRP liquidity, rather than the only DeFi native stablecoin, which can pull new cross-chain volume, didn't mean to do that, onto Solana for DeFi and payments. If RLUSD and XRP flows actually materialize, Solana becomes a more credible hub for cross-chain FX remittance-style rails, strengthening its global payments. And what is this going to do for XRP and RLUSD? XRP and RLUSD get a new high-performance execution environment where capital can move from the XRP ledger into Solana DeFi, lending, and perpetuals, deepening use cases beyond pure payments. So, this is just interconnecting systems and having value being able to go back and forth. And, this is kind of what you want to see, them connecting everything. Let's see here. We got Cosmic Fox. However, Sensei has kept us in a realistic mindset we need for that for our mental health. Yeah, listen, I think it's important to understand that this could take time, right? We all want this to happen now. And I get that. And, I've been in the crypto space for a while now, and I've learned that you need patience, and the markets are going to go up and they're going to go down. And until we get to a point of utility, it's all going to be this crazy speculation that moves markets up and down. And the swings are they're tough to deal with. I won't sugarcoat it. Like, if you're just getting into crypto now and you haven't really experienced, a 50% haircut or a 40% haircut due to a black swan event, that can be pretty challenging, right? And what I've learned is, just like with the stock market, when you have a bear market or something happens where something plunges 10, 20, 30%, often if you can, make it through that stressful period and get to the other side, that usually markets come back pretty quickly. And I think you saw that with the liquidity event that we experienced in October, that, within a few days, markets were already kind of turning around. Within a few hours of that happening, people were taking advantage of those massive price sales. So, we'll get there together, guys. I'm here with you. Hey, Sensei, if 1 billion XRP are released by Ripple every month, won't that affect the price in a negative way? So, Tom, that's a great question. I did a video about this. I think yesterday, actually, I had something in that video. I'm trying to remember which video specifically it was, but we looked at, it's the video that talks about Ripple having to possibly sell XRP. Let me see which video that is. Hold on one second, because I get into exactly what you're asking me about. It's going to be like in the last here, unless Cass hasn't put it out yet, but it's going to be in like the last 6 videos here. I'm not sure which title it is. I do apologize. Sometimes my editor takes my title and throws it out the window. It actually is probably this video. Be forced to sell over this video right here. All right, this is the video you want to watch. Man, it's funny how people's questions I can answer. Like, I just did this. I got you. So let me just give you the highlights if you don't want to go and watch the video. If I looked at 2024 and 2025, how much XRP is being unlocked and how much XRP is being relocked up. And in 24, you saw basically 80% of XRP being relocked. And in 2025, you're seeing about 70% of XRP being relocked. There was like 1 month where Ripple only relocked, I think it was like 530 or 570 million XRP, but most of the months they're relocking 70%. So when we get into 26, if they follow the same pattern here, I would imagine that they will keep 60% relocked up, because they did 80, now 70. Now I think it may go to 60. But obviously I don't work at Ripple and I don't have their escrow chart or what they plan to do. Obviously, if there's more demand for XRP and they have more deals, they could unlock more. But I think Ripple understands, by being a good steward of the XRP ledger, that they want to create a supply crunch for XRP, because then they hold the keys to the liquidity kingdom. Do I own Quant? I used to own Quant. I don't own Quant right now. Listen, I think Gilbert Verdian is one of the smartest people on the planet, especially in the blockchain space. I think Quant is going to be a vital piece, but like, I cannot follow so many assets at the same time. And there's all of these other developments. And like, I've just really dedicated, like I've kind of focused all of my attention on just a few things. Right. And I think Quant will be very important. And with the low supply, what is it, like 14 million, lower than Bitcoin? I think eventually you could see Quant's price really, I'd imagine, like I thought when I bought Quant like 21 or whatever, maybe it was like early 2022, maybe it was 21. I was looking at how much supply it was. I think at the time Bitcoin was like 10 or 20,000 or something. It was early days. And I was like, I'd imagine that Quant's price will eventually be like a Bitcoin price, like 10 or 20,000, right? And I still probably think it can do that, but you are going to need more people. Quant doesn't quite have the XRP army, and that's really important. Really, that's what drives ecosystems and what the development and building of something. And I think it's a good asset. I just don't have the time to keep up with all of it, man. All right, a bunch of comments. Oh my God, I had to scroll down here. If XLM follows XRP, why are there not more ETFs? So there's more demand for XRP, obviously, right now. And I think XRP is in a different place than XLM. Remember, XRP and Ripple, they've been building for longer. And XLM really didn't have a lot going for it until Danelle Dixon came in, right? I think that she's the one who kind of helped turn XLM around. That's my personal feeling. Obviously, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. I think Jed McCaleb is an incredible builder, but I don't think he was a really good partnership and connector person, right? And I think that's what she came in and she's just killing it. And I think Stellar has a bright future. They're really more focused on the retail side of payments, and XRP and Ripple are focused on the institutional side. And, you know, whether it's you're buying XLM now at 25, 30 cents, or you're buying XRP at $2, I think both will have positive outcomes over the next few years. I just think that there will be more value for the XRP ledger because of those institutional connections. Institutions, that's where all the money is, right? And you can solve problems at scale for retail, but still, at the end of the day, institutions are where the quadrillions are, and you want to service those. Let's take a look. Harry's asking for the flows for today for 21 shares. So let's check in with Chad Steingraber, because that man keeps up with flows pretty well. Let's see, 4 minutes ago, ready to deploy RLUSD. Ooh, here's some new rail news. We're officially part of the Ripple team. Okay, so they completed the acquisition. It looks like this deal is done. Okay, that's something I need to work on for tomorrow. We're gonna put a video together for that. Paul Atkins, I told Maria Bartiromo last week, U.S. financial markets are poised to move on chain under my leadership at the SEC, is prioritizing innovation and embracing new technologies to enable the on-chain future. Man, when you have the SEC chair talking about crypto as the future, I mean, you got to listen, right? Let's see here. Grayscale updates. Oh, DTC. Is this what someone was asking me about? In a historic milestone, the DTC received a no action letter. What? Wait, hold up. What? In a historic milestone, the DTC received a no action letter from the SEC to tokenize certain DLC custody assets by leveraging blockchain. DTC aimed to bridge. Wait, a no action letter. Hold on. Like I for a second there, I got Wells notice and no action letter mixed up in my head. I do apologize for the reaction. Let's see what this says. The DTC, a subsidiary of the DTCC, has been authorized to offer a new innovative tokenized service to for select DLC custodied assets, receiving a no action letter of the SEC December 11, 2025. This important federal regulatory milestone paves the way for DTC participants and their clients to begin to tokenize select stocks, ETFs, and fixed income securities with a secure and regulated environment, a critical first step to bringing the U.S. capital markets on chain. Okay. All righty then. That sounds pretty juicy to me. Oh man, I'm going to have to make some content about this too. This is great.
Our industry and the future of digital markets. After years of industry experimentation with digital technology, I'm excited to let you know that DTCC has received a no action letter from the SEC. This letter authorizes us to develop and operate a new and voluntary service to tokenize assets held at DTC. This is a significant milestone for several reasons. First, our new tokenization service will serve as the bridge between TradFi and DeFi. Upon launch in the second half of 2026, we will support the tokenization of liquid assets, including the Russell 1000, ETFs tracking major indices, and other assets. Second, and importantly, we will offer the same investor protections and ownership rights as traditional book entry securities currently held in custody by DTC. In other words, we will provide digital assets the same care as we do traditional ones. And third, our new service will yield transformational benefits for industry participants and their underlying investors. These include greater collateral mobility, new trading modalities, and 24/7 access. We're excited to help innovate for the industry and to empower our participants and their clients to tokenize. In doing so, we will work collaboratively with the industry to create a safe, sound, and efficient market infrastructure for digital securities. Collaboration has been a cornerstone of DTCC since our founding more than 50 years ago, and I'm very proud to say that today's announcement will build upon our legacy of innovating for the global markets. It's one more example of how we serve our industry and how we will continue to do so for the next 50 years. While the new tokenization service is an important step forward to drive digital asset adoption, in many ways it represents just the beginning of a larger transformation that we will help drive as a strategic partner to the industry. We look forward to continuing to provide leadership to support our members and their clients on their digital asset journey. I want to take a moment to thank all of you who have worked so hard to make this possible. Thank you.
Oh my God. How can you not be bullish about the crypto market after seeing a video like that? Holy smokes, man. Oh, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's all lining up. It's all lining up. Crazy. It's crazy. I remember talking about the DTCC like 3 years ago, and speculating at the time because we didn't have all of these updates and the SEC was hostile to crypto and we didn't know when we were going to see this stuff. But now we're seeing it. It's a beautiful thing, man. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Crypto genealogy, great to see you. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Husker Nation. I know much about Flare. We're trying to get the CEO of Flare on. Like, we're trying to get Hugo Filion. He's got a cool name. We're trying to get him on because I think like Flare can be complicated. Like some of the things that they're doing, like I haven't really taken the full time to understand and unpack all of it. And, I think when we had that initial person from Flare come, very, very well educated, but talking on a pretty high level, right? And we really need to kind of, I think dumb it down's not the right terminology, but like we need to make it easier for people of any level to understand how important what Flare is doing and why people should be paying attention, right? And I think like if you're not looking at Flare right now as a possible, I can't give you investment advice. I can only tell you what I see. I know that Flare has had this airdrop where they have basically gifted a ton of Flare to XRP holders over the last 3 years, and that's coming to an end in January. So you had all of this selling pressure for 3 years, and now you have all of their developments now launching without the selling pressure. This doesn't take a genius to figure out what's going to happen there, right? Like that's an opportunity. Do some due diligence. I think you're going to like what you see there. All right. Hugo is brilliant, very technical. Yeah, like we need to bring the technical skills down a bit and just like, just keep it on a very basic level. Cause like there's people that watch the channel from all kinds of, different backgrounds. And some people are extremely intelligent on the technical specs and how this is going to do this. And there's some people that are, are just getting in, or maybe they've been in for 6 or 12 months and they still don't quite understand it. And I've been here for 5 years and I'm still learning every day. Right. And so, it does take some time. Yeah. Dumb it down, ease them into it, like ease everybody into it and just very, very clearly explain like why this is a big deal. Why should people be paying attention? Why should XRP holders trust Flare with their XRP? Like explain all of that. What is going to be the benefits to XRP holders to bring their XRP to Flare, right? And what are we looking forward to? That's what I want to understand. Flare started out crooked, still crooked. Why do you say that? Because the airdrop? I think like I've looked at a lot of crypto teams in the crypto space, and I wouldn't use those words together, but that's my personal opinion. And obviously I don't know what you've been through with Flare, and maybe this could be like an airdrop issue possibly, or maybe, you had a bad experience. I don't know. All I want for Christmas is to retire young. I love that. That is beautiful. I love that. All right, Harry. I see you asking me about 21 shares. We got sidetracked. I'll come back to it, Harry. All right, here. I'm starring it, Harry. I'm not forgetting about you. Good stuff. As you will sensei, I was analyzing the NDAA, and it seems like one party is anti-CBDC. What's your take? Yeah. So listen, you can be anti-CBDC. And I think there's a lot of misinformation about CBDCs out there. And I think people absorb misinformation, right? Whatever side of the fence you are on, anti-CBDC or CBDC, you got to understand that all of our competitor countries, all of the countries that the US competes against for manufacturing, technology, whatever, they are all exploring a CBDC. Okay. FedNow is not a blockchain system. It is a centralized system at the Fed that handles instant settlement through their mechanisms, and the Fed handles the settlement. If you really want to compete at scale with large economies across the entire world, you need to have the plan in place. And the Anti-CBDC Act specifically states you cannot pilot, you cannot test, you cannot launch. Now, is it a smart idea to not have something like that ready in case you need it, right? Because what happens in life is a country experiences a problem, and whatever that problem is, I don't know. Okay. But once we get to that problem, if we don't have the technology ready to go to fix that problem, and we have to spend years learning and we're going to rush into it, we're going to make mistakes, and that could cost us everything. So I think the fear mongering around CBDCs is a lack of education. And I think if we really sat down and discussed the pros and cons, we at least need to have a system ready to go. That's my personal feeling. And, I don't care what, it shouldn't be a right side versus left side thing. It should be we need to prepare for any inevitability here that could affect our country and the well-being of its citizens, right? And no matter where you live, you look at what the EU is doing. They are moving forward with their CBDC, right? Because they know that they need to have a payment infrastructure that supports this new digital revolution. You can be bullish on crypto, you can pass legislation, but if the federal government doesn't have the technology to compete with institutions, what are we doing? Right? And so I think this is going to be one of those things that we shoot ourselves in the foot, and everyone innovates around us, and we're going to be looking at each other. And what'll happen is whoever the next president is, whatever side of the aisle that they're on, they will probably understand that, oh my God, the EU, the UK, Japan, all of these countries have either a wholesale CBDC or a retail or both, and we don't. So what is that? That puts us at a very big disadvantage on a global scale. And I just don't think that's an intelligent way to approach any type of technology. All right. So I keep getting asked about the 21 shares volume. So let's just address that. Let's try to address that. Give me 1 second here. Let me see if Alexi has the information so I don't have to look for it. Do we have any info on today's? Let's see. Today's on-screen volume for 21 shares is showing about 18,700 shares traded so far. That really doesn't tell me how much, though. All right, hold on. Why this is looking 21 shares. You think 21 shares would probably have it? Let me see. 21 shares. Let's see if they announced it. No, they did not announce it. Let me see if Chad has it. Chad's usually all over this, but I need to save that. Man, it looks like I got to come back from my haircut and work more. We are closed. Target daily range achieved. 5 million more XRP acquired. No, I don't have the information yet. I do apologize. 21 shares, first day volume. 11 hours ago. That's not helpful. No, you know what? Sorry, Harry. I don't have the information, man. And as soon as I have it, I'll put it out, man. Okay. Is that you, or the DTCC news is so bullish? It's bullish. There's no way to say that it's not. Right? It's just another step in the right direction. And it's crazy. What up, Dan Leon? What's up, Dan Lillian? That's a tough one. That's a tongue twister. Patience is key. I know that it's been years of patience, but it eventually will pay off. The world will be digital one day, someday soon, probably soon. We are early. Well said. Well said. Yeah, guys, like the one thing you don't want to do right now is sell too early, right? And like, I can only tell you that my plan is to hold. We're going to get tested. Whether that's tested at $10, $50, $100, we will be tested, right? And if you don't have a plan in place, the FOMO will get a hold of you, all right? So if you build out a plan for yourself, stick with the plan, right? If you want to adjust the plan, fix the plan, update the plan, do that. But have some kind of understanding of where you're going to be, right? Some people say, I'll never sell any XRP. But some people are like, hey, if it gets to this point, I don't really care to go out and take loans and do all of these extra things. I will pay my taxes and I will be chilling for the rest of my life, right? So whatever that is that you're going to do, just make sure that you have a plan, you stick to it, and you'll get it. You'll get it right. You know, just don't sell too early. For Luna, from Luna, the two cutest Chicago Bears fans in Hawaii. You made my day, buddy. Well, Ariana and Win Sox Win loved it too. It's an honor, man. Thank you, Husky. Appreciate you, man. I really appreciate everything you've done for the channel. XRP. Is that saying XR Pug? Are you trying to say XRP Rug? I don't know what you're saying. Is that a new dog? Is it an XR Pug? I don't know. You're crazy. Toxar is at 386K. That's awful. Really? Is that what it is? Yikes. I guess they didn't need 100 million XRPC, did they? They should have started with 5 million. But hey, I think they're looking to the future. Not everything's going to come out the first day and set, records for the industry. Whatever. I'm okay with it. It's not all going to be breaking, it's not always going to be, topping 900 other ETFs in one day. I'm good with it, man. Yeah, so like that's going to be some people's, that's what they're going to do. They're going to take loans against it. They're going to go buy real estate or laundry mats. I'm going to own every laundry mat in Hawaii. It's going to be Sensei's Coin and Laundry. It's going to be a hostile takeover. Jeff C, I see your comment. I don't really want to put it up on the screen. That's something maybe to look into. I think there's a lot of things said behind the scenes about all of that. And, it's kind of like a poison pill. If you start talking about it and addressing it, you're going to frustrate a lot of people that really see that person as the true hero. And, people are always going to find things wrong with something. When you look hard enough, there's always something there, right? Doesn't matter who you are or what you've been through in life. There's always something in your life that maybe, you show others that it's like this, but really it's like this. And that's just human beings in general, right? We have this persona online, right? And people see that persona and they might not see who you are in the real world, and I think in some cases, those two things can be very different. And, you just like, if you're going to give your XRP and invest it into a fund or give it to someone that you think is smarter than you to manage it, just do some due diligence on where they're keeping your XRP. What are they going to be doing with it? What are the expectations? Are there any other competing funds out there that might actually give me a return, right? Like, there's some due diligence that you can do to make sure that you don't put yourself into a negative situation, right? And sometimes it doesn't work out, right? Sometimes you can do all the due diligence, go down the road, and still things don't work out, right? And that's part of life. And being able to bounce back from that and make adjustments is what will make you either extremely successful or just another average person, right? And keeping up with the news and information is going to be very important. Wax on, wax off laundry. I like that, Sam. I like that. Me and Sam are going to go into business. Since I have any bear, I'm going to go get a haircut after this. Oh my God. I was like, should I do my hair before the stream? And yes, I'm having a bad hair day. Thank you. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Sensei, is a Web3 wallet something to use or get into for added protection for a crypto? Can you enlighten us with your knowledge? So Sveta, so like, listen, there's a ton of different technologies, right? It's going to be safer in the long run for you to take the crypto off the exchange and keep it in a hardware wallet. Okay. Now, depending how much crypto you own, you might not need a fancy ledger, right? I'd imagine this thing's probably like $200, right? You might not need to spend that, right? There are some wallets that I would recommend you take a look at. Zaman is probably the most well-known XRP wallet for your cell phone, right? Now, do you want to keep your XRP on your cell phone, right? Are you ever going to be in a position where somebody knows who you are and knows you have your XRP on your cell phone, right? Like that's what I don't want to have to worry about. So I put my crypto on specific wallets. I keep them not in my house because I don't ever want somebody to show up at my front door. They are lock and key at a specific bank, in a safety deposit box. That is where I believe is a safe place. Now, if my crypto turns into something where it's worth 50, 100 million, $1 billion one day, I would probably look at some institutional level custody. But even that, you just need to be careful. So I think Uphold has a good solution too, that they're rolling out the vault. And, there's going to be a lot of solutions across the board. I haven't used the vault, but I know they're trying to make it pretty simple for people to hold their crypto. But you don't need to spend a ton of money on a wallet if you don't have enough. I don't even know what a certain amount would be, right? But like if you had $500 in crypto, you don't need to spend $200 on a wallet, right? But if you have 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, maybe a wallet is something that you would feel more secure with. But you got to secure that wallet too, right? Keeping it at home in your safe might not be the best solution, right? And so it's always situational and personal. I can tell you the most common wallets that people talk about are Ledger, Decent, Zaman, IllyPal, Treasure. Those are kind of the most common names that I hear. I don't use Treasure. I don't use IllyPal, even though people swear that it's incredible. I use Ledger and I use Decent. Those are the two companies that I am trusting to keep my crypto safe. Tangem, that's a good one. Yeah, Tangem. Yeah, I don't know anything about Exodus, but Tangem was the one that I hear people tell me about. Tangem. There's some pretty good sales across the board. I think Decent has the more aggressive sales at this point. I think still some of their stuff is like 40% off. Ledger, I think, does a lot of they'll give you Bitcoin back. That's cool, but people want a discount, right? Like people want to see money coming off. It feels a little different when you have, some amount in Bitcoin. Like instead of giving somebody $80 in Bitcoin, give them $80 off the wallet and you just fix it on the back end. Like people want to see discounts. People are used to sales, and it's just psychology. It's much different, man. I don't know. Decent is cheap and it works well. Yeah. I mean, cheap is a strong word, but yeah, it's affordable. It's affordable. I can tell you that I'm very impressed with some of the technology that Ledger has. Like, if you're used to using a touchscreen, this is a pretty, oh yeah, almost said my passcode out loud. That would have been really intelligent of me to do. See, I got to be careful on you guys, but it has a little app here. You can click and do all kinds of things, but it's just a little bit easier to use when it's a touchscreen because that's what I'm used to with my phone all the time. But you got to go what you feel is the most important thing for you. Damn, a lot of people say Tangem. I might need to go get a Tangem affiliate code to get you guys some discounts or something. I'll have my team look into that. Caleb and Brown, I've heard people, Caleb and Brown team has been reaching out to me for like a year and a half. They want to work with me, but I don't know. I've heard some things about Caleb. I'm not too sure. Like, I've never looked into them. I know some people say the fees are high, but the fees are high everywhere. So, if it works for you and you feel secure and you feel safe and you've done your due diligence, that's all you can ask for, right? If there's a better technology that comes around and you feel it's important to move to that technology, then you got to do what you think is right, not what somebody else tells you to do, right? Because when somebody's telling you what to do, they usually have some, reason for telling you, right? I can only tell you the wallets that I've personally used in my everyday life. I can tell you on my phone, it's Zamin. That is probably one of the safest wallets that I feel that I can have a little XRP on. And then, like I said, Ledger and Decent. That's what I know, right? But I can tell you that a lot of people talk about Tangem. So I'll have to. Thoughts on Anchorage? I don't know anybody at Anchorage. If anybody in the chat is at Anchorage and they feel like they can talk openly about what their experience is like, please post some of that stuff. I would love to see that. Sensei, you should build your own hedge fund. I'm not a hedge fund guy. I don't want people's money. I want to give you education. I want to give you news. I want to have fun with you and share my passion. Like, that's what I care about. I don't need to make points on the back end and I just want to be on this journey with you. Like, that is what's most important to me. And if I can be successful, I know all of you will be successful. And that's all I need at the end of the day. Like, I don't need to control massive amounts of XRP. Like, I don't, there are some people that have approached me to collab in the future on maybe some stuff like that. And maybe that's where this takes me after YouTube. I don't know. I would imagine once XRP reaches a certain point, you guys won't need me anymore, So what am I going to do after that? I haven't figured that out yet. I thought it would be cool to just, I'm kind of in a cool position that I can give you this news and my time and my passion. I can pay my bills. I can buy more XRP, and then when we get to price appreciation, I could tour the world and just see how people are using their money to benefit the world. I think it would be really cool to highlight some people that are donating to charity or building schools or doing something that is giving back. And I think that would be a really fun experience. And then also, the parties and the yachts and things like that. I wouldn't mind that too. Some champagne. That sounds good to me, guys. That sounds good to me. I live in Anchorage. AK Scarface says Anchorage is good. Is it true that the government pays you to live in Alaska? Is that true? I heard that somewhere. I just didn't know. I was like, does that sound right? I don't know. Thoughts on Cash Shoot and XRP Bible? I don't know what this is. I'm not fully convinced, but XRP does have a lot of coincidences. What do they say? There's no coincidences in life. It's either is or it isn't. I mean, I've given you I've given you everything that I have for XRP. You know that I've looked at the crypto space. I know what is available. I know the companies. I know the technology, and I'm betting the farm on Ripple being successful. I've learned to not bet against those people. Like, those people have a mission, and that mission is to transform the global financial system and to use XRP in their infrastructure. And I'm good. Let's go. Ooh, what video are you guys talking about? Craziest video I've seen. Let's see. There's any other things I wanted to show you before the day's up here? The Fed's cutting rates. Yes. Oh yeah, here, let's look at this. I thought this was valuable to talk about before I got to go to this haircut appointment. Let me play this really quickly. 2026.
Alts are driven by the business cycle. So with the business cycle currently low, we haven't had alt season. And everyone's like, I can't believe they've robbed us of alt season. It's never going to happen. There's too many tokens. We can't have nice things and all of that bullshit we hear all day. It's not. It's just the economy's stupid, because what happens is when earnings go up, when the business cycle is strong, you have more earnings and you invest those earnings further out the risk curve. It's just really basic stuff. It happens for exactly the same as small caps, exactly the same with junk bonds, credit. They all operate in exactly the same way, and the business cycle has been subdued. Listen to Scott Bessent. He's telling you all day, as is Trump, is we're going to have a banner year next year. Why? Because they're going to jam the market with liquidity, and they're going to jam fiscal stimulus through as well. Yeah, if you think about it, the US is a service-based economy. They're going to get rid of tax on tips. That's a huge boost to people. There's like $1.5 trillion that will flow into the banking system just from that stuff alone, from the big, beautiful bill. Then we've got the changes to the SLR that allows maybe $3 or $4 trillion of credit creation from the banking system. We've got enormous amounts of this stuff lining up. Why? Because they want to win the election. You know, the good thing is, for once, we've actually got a macro hedge fund manager running the treasury. So I know how he thinks. He was a long-term global macro investor subscriber. I've known him for 20 years. And he understands the game, which is jam the business cycle going into the elections. So we've got that. We've got the debt to roll. It's kind of stacking up, and it tells you your beloved, or our beloved, alt season is still to come.
Our beloved alt season is still to come. I do think 2026 is going to be a banger year for us, guys. Listen, I do need to go get this haircut. It is too long. My haircut's at 3. It's in about 19 minutes, and I got to jump. I will be here tomorrow for a full stream, at least 2 hours, answering as many questions as I can. We'll go through all of the latest news and information. Thank you, honestly, for all your support. Thank you to Ariana and all the mods that came here, and of course, the people that did donate. I really appreciate you. Thank you for everyone that showed up, asked questions. Sensei, watch the Ripple Bible. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a photo of this. I'll take a look at it. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for the regular stream. Peace.